आदरणीय प्रेमचंद्र जी।
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, sir, for affording me this opportunity to take part in the discussion on climate change. That too under Rule 193 in the light of COP26, which took place at Glasgow in Scotland, where 197 countries met to decide on the actions to be taken to address the phenomena of climate change. Sir, I also take this opportunity to congratulate the Honorable Speaker for allowing us to take part in the discussion, because this is a very serious, important subject as far as India is concerned, especially in the light of Glasgow conference. That has to be a very significant subject. I thanks to the Honorable Speaker as well as the Chairman. Sir, climate change is a phenomena which refers to a change of climate which is attributed directly or indirectly in human activities that alters the composition of global phenomena. Sir, according to me, climate change is due to the global warming, and it is having a direct link to the development process in the country. Sir, the concept of development has to be changed. The mindset regarding the development has to be changed. How to change? Sir, the concept of development should be that meet the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generation to meet their own needs. That should be the concept of development. Otherwise, nothing is going to happen, whatever be the summit or whatever be the conventions or conferences and decisions and declarations made in the global forums will never give fruitful results. So the concept regarding the development has to be basically drastically changed. That is the first point which I would like to make. Sir, I am coming to the conventions one by one. Honorable Minister is listening and he is having a patient hearing of the entire debate. I am thankful to him also. Sir, when we come from 1992 to 2021, because the first 1992 UN Framework Convention on Climate Change declared any multilateral agreement must be in accordance with the larger principle. Sir, what is the principle? Common but differentiated responsibilities and liabilities. This is the basic principle the global conventions took since 1992. Sir, developed and developing countries should be treated separately on the basis of their capabilities. So the responsibilities of the developing countries and the developed countries have to be treated in the manner on which the capabilities of the nation and also the permanent polluter, not the permanent polluter, the historical polluters, they have done what they have done in the past. All these things should be taken into consideration in deciding this principle. So that is why it is based on the principles of equity and justice. This is the principle followed since 1992. Sir, in 1992, Rio Conference, developed countries committed to stabilize emissions to 1990 level by 2000. Whether it has been done? No. Sir, rich should reduce and poor should grow. That was the basic concept which taken at the time of Rio Conference. Sir, coming to 1997, that is the Kyoto Protocol, it was signed where 37 developed nations committed to reduce carbon emission by an average of 5% from the 1990 level by 2008 to 2012. Developed countries committed to limit greenhouse gas emissions also. Sir, this is not being complied with. This is the Kyoto Protocol of 1997 has not been, the commitment has not been complied with. Sir, there also the principle accepted and adopted was nothing but common but differentiated responsibilities and liabilities. That was the principle adopted in the Kyoto Protocol also. Sir, coming to 2009, the Copenhagen Commit, in which 141 countries, including USA, Brazil, China, India, agreed to the global temperature rise to 2 degrees Celsius above 1900 level. And coming to 2014 Lima Conference, sir, there all parties demanded that they can determine their contributions towards addressing climate change and will submit their national determined contributions by 2015 in the Paris Agreement. This was the commitment made in 2014. Sir, coming to 2015, the Paris Agreement, it was adopted which aims to limit the rise in global average temperature to a level of 1.5 degrees Celsius to 2 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels by 2030. So very important point, above the pre-industrial level. Because the industrially developed nations have already done the damage to this globe from 1850 onwards. So if you take into consideration from 1850 to 2000, the industrial revolution which took place and the emission, the carbon emission, and the damage to the atmosphere and to the climate has already been done. That is why it should be before 1815. So limiting the average global temperature is 1.5 degrees Celsius to 2 degrees Celsius. That was the declaration, that was the agreement in Paris Agreement. So what was the ambitious plan is not 2 degrees Celsius. I think the Honorable Minister will agree with me, that is 1.5 degrees Celsius. That was the ambitious plan adopted or suggested or approved by the conference or by the agreement, Paris Agreement. So it was also agreed in the Paris conference, Paris Agreement, that developed countries will finance developing countries to assist them in the mitigation, not only in the mitigation, even the adaptation efforts also. This is the commitment in the Paris Agreement. What happened to the Paris Agreement? I'm not blaming anybody. What Donald Trump has declared, unequivocally he has declared that US is not responsible for financing the developing countries, and he has unilaterally gone back from the Paris Agreement, Donald Trump. And he has made a statement, because of the passage of time, I'm not going to quote his speech. And he has said that India, countries like India is begging for finance from America and from the developed countries. That was the speech he has made at the time when he is going back from the Paris Agreement. So there also we couldn't respond in that sense also. So what I am suggesting, and coming to the Glasgow Conference 2021. Yes, 2021 Glasgow Conference. Yes, I'm not going to all the details, sir. 4 points I would like to highlight. First one is the urge development nations to provide financial assistance, but it is not mandatory. It is only a casual observation or a declaration. Already there is a commitment that you have to mobilize $100 billion for the developing countries for the mitigation as well as adaptation, and that has to start from 2023. And in the Glasgow conference in Scotland, what they said, it is urged the developed countries to provide, and that has been, I think that the year has been extended. And the second one is reduce the non-carbon dioxide greenhouse gases emission by 2030. And the third one, accelerate the development of clean power. In the case of clean power also, we have got so many reservations. The Western developed countries are only concerned about the fossil fuel. The petrol, gas, everything will come under the fossil fuel. But they are only concerned about the coal, which the India and China and countries like India is being adversely affected. So there much stress has been given as far as the clean power, in clean power also, especially in the case of coal, in which India is depending on. And the fourth one is phase out inefficient fossil fuel subsidies. These are the major suggestions which were approved or which have come in the Glasgow Conference or COP26 2021. Sir, what I am suggesting, why I am mentioning all these conferences or conventions or agreements from 1990 to 2021, there is a dilution of the basic principle. That is the point which I would like to make. From 1992 to 2021, when we reached to Glasgow from Rio, or the travel or the transformation from Rio to Glasgow, for the last 30 years, we can very well see that the principle of equity is diluted and to an extent it is lost. That is the basic principle. Again, I would like to reiterate common but differentiated responsibilities and capabilities. That principle is in a way has become insignificant after the Glasgow conference. That has to be seriously dealt with. A developing country like India has to be very serious, and we have to express our concern over this issue. Sir, 1992, on the basis of the principle, developing countries have to be treated separately, which I have already mentioned. So when COP26 at Glasgow, even the concept of, I would like to draw the, if I am wrong, I am my common parlance I am speaking.
No, you're not wrong, you're right.
Yeah, if I am wrong, please correct me. According to my inference, on going through the records and documents, even the concept of developed and developing countries has been changed. It is very adversely affecting a country like India. And what is the new concept? The new concept is major economy. A new observation has come into the picture, major economy. Sir, what would be the impact of developed and developing countries is being replaced by the major economies? That means we are now in the list of US, UK, European Union, China, Canada, and India. These are the major economies. So what would be, suppose the differentiation between developed and developing countries is being changed. In the place of developed countries, suppose the major economies is coming, whether India will be getting the assistance as far as the major principle which I have already elaborated. So that has also to be seriously concerned, whether the government of India or Union of India is concerned, is having concern on this new development. It is not on the face of the record, I do admit. It is not on the face of the record, but indirectly it is being in an interpretation that in the place of developed countries it has come to in the case of developed countries it has become as major economies. Sir, there is a difference between, there is a big difference between the rich and the poor. Sir, can you treat a person living in a 27-story building in Mumbai and an Adivasi tribal who is living in an Attapadi Adivasi colony? You cannot compare this. A person who is living in Mumbai in a 27-story building, the emission of carbon from him and the pollution which he is doing, and an Adivasi tribe who is living in Attapadi Adivasi colony in Kerala cannot be equated together, cannot be similar, can never be equated, can never be compared even. So that is the position. So the rich are, so what is happening after this Glasgow conference or the COP26 2021, the rich is hiding behind the poor. So the rich is hiding behind the poor. Sir, further the carbon emission 1922, it was mandatory. I have already explained it has come to optional or it has become voluntary. So in short, sir, the climate justice proposed by India, I do appreciate the Honorable Minister and Union of India. Yes, we have raised the issue of the climate justice in the conference. But the issue of climate justice proposed by India do not find any place in the operational part of the Glasgow conference discussions. I mean, yes, we will, after the explanation, we can very well. So according to me, that has, yes, absolutely, we have raised it. India deserves appreciation for raising the climate justice, and we also support it. But in the operational part, if you critically examine, it is not finding any place. So my conclusion regarding the Glasgow conference is, it is adverse to the interest of the developing countries. Sir, coming to the climate justice, please. The Honorable Minister can very well explain, because he is the part and parcel and he was leading the discussion regarding the climate justice. Sir, climate justice, the fulcrum of any agreement should be the climate justice. This is my point. Sir, climate justice is for a proper agreement, for a proper global agreement, there should have climate justice. I also appreciate the position taken by the Government of India, which I have already mentioned. So equity should be the key of the agreement. The emerging world needs to emit and to contain the emission. This is the problem. This is the problem. We want to emerge as a developed country, but at the same time, we have to contain the emission. This is a big problem. It is not a simple thing. For which, what is the principle? The principle of equity should be made applicable so as to have a balance of development and also to contain the emission. Sir, Sir, emission of the past, I quote, emission of the past affects the future. Carbon dioxide emission has a residence of 150 years. Carbon dioxide emission has a life or a residence of 150 years in the atmosphere. The present emission, according to 2019 assessment, US 5.28 gigawatts, and China 10 gigawatt, and India 2.62. So the scale of difference is very huge, number one. Number two, see, sir, the percentage-wise. Sir, see the percentage-wise. US, UK, European Union, Russia, China, Australia, Canada. Historic polluters, they are contributing 34%. China contributing 28% emission. India is only 7%. Sir, the rest of the, I will. The rest of the entire world will contribute only 31%, sir. Sir, per capita emission, Australia 16 tons, China 7.3 tons, India 1.9 tons. Sir, that the above statistics why I am mentioning is the inequity exists in the world. We need a framework on equity as per the prevailing scientific data according to the NDCs of various countries. The global average temperature may rise to 3 degrees Celsius. If the on the basis, sir, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. 2-3 minutes. I have very important 6 suggestions I have.
Okay, please.
Sir, the global average temperature may rise to 3 degrees Celsius when the safety net is 1.5 degrees Celsius. Sir, it is an alarming situation. So I conclude with the following 6 suggestions. Please give me 5 more minutes. I will text of the speech.
Please.
Sir, let me conclude with the following 6
suggestions quickly, please.
Yes, sir. Number one. Sir, there is. Sir, number one, there is no, there is no sign of any let-up in the global warming. On the contrary, it is increasing. And Glasgow meeting of the Conference of Parties to the UNFCCC, there was no serious commitments on the part of the industrialized countries to significantly reduce the carbon emission. On the other hand, they have trivialized the treaty process by involving their corporations and promoting their voluntary commitments. India has failed in the negotiations to garner G77 unity, which we have, and to prompt the industrial economies to agree to make a substantial reduction in carbon reduction, number one. And number two, sir, we have also failed to elicit binding commitments from the historic polluters to provide financial and technological support to the developing countries to tide over the problem created by the climate crisis. Number three, India has to be better equipped in our negotiations. That is the suggestion which I would like to make to the Honorable Minister through you, sir. We must bring in the long-agreed principle of common but differentiated responsibility into the negotiations. India has to protect its carbon space for the development of the country, but at the same time, we must not allow the rich who do most of the pollution to hide behind the poor. The use of the carbon space must benefit every Indian, not just the rich. Sir, number four, we need to review our coal policy. It also important to examine whether we need to import coal newly from Australia. Sir, number five, India should strictly comply with the commitment made in COP26 regarding the increase of the share of renewable energy and should come out with a concrete action plan. I do appreciate the announcement made by the Honorable Prime Minister regarding the renewable energy in the COP26 Glasgow conference. It's a good thing, but that has to come, the government has to come out with a concrete action plan so as to make it practicable. And the sixth one is also I appreciate the position taken by the government of India in the negotiations to substitute the word phase out with the phase down. I would like to know from the Honorable Minister whether that has been accepted. I am not sure on seeing the document whether phase out has been replaced by the phase down. Yes, I will. Sir, I conclude the speech that if the IPCC report, Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, if it comes true, then it is very difficult for the globe to survive. So I would like to quote, so my suggestion is, India has to tell to the world, enough is enough, and stop the carbon emission decisively to reverse the climate change.
Thank you.
India must be in the forefront to meet the global demand for mitigation of global change, and at the same time we should improve our capacity for adaptation. 1 minute. Sir, I conclude my speech with the quoting the speech of Harjeet Singh, Senior Advisor to the Climate Action Network International, one of the largest groups. Sir, I quote, "There is just a very small step forward. The pace is extremely slow. We are moving inches when we need to gallop in miles," unquote. Sir, we need an action today, not tomorrow. Let us work together for it. With these words, I conclude. Thank you very much.